And live we are. Let us begin. We have a lot to discuss. Last week, I made my picks for UFC 317 Topuria versus Oliveira, and also Pantoja versus Cara France in the co-main event. Now let's go and recap what I chose. I did not do excellent on this card. Now let's go make fun of myself. So we did have a fight canceled last minute. It was Jackson McVeigh versus Christopher Ewart. I chose Christopher Ewart, but he could not make weight. Apparently, his management had accepted the bout while he was 30 pounds overweight, and he had 3 days to cut that weight. So I'm glad it got canceled because he probably would have lost due to a terrible weight cut. But a lot of people were saying he will get cut from TKO group entirely and will never appear on the Dana White Contender Series or UFC. And that is completely false because he's back on Dana White's Contender Series. So I look forward to seeing him. I also look forward to seeing Jackson McVeigh and what they could do. The first fight of the night, I thought this fight would be a stinker. I think we all kind of did. It was Gennaro Denise versus Alvin Hines. I chose Gennaro Denise to win, and he did win. This fight was actually quite fun, though, and it was all because of Alvin Hines and his gas tank. He was trying to throw down for every second of that bout up until the end, and he even won the third round because of it. Gennaro Denise tried to play it smart, save his cardio. In the end, he only had enough cardio for 2 rounds. He was kind of trying to just avoid the shots of Alvin Hines, but he was a much slicker boxer, much better fighter. He was giving Alvin Hines the check left hook every chance he could in the first and second round, and Alvin Hines was wearing the damage. So, of course, Jonathan East won, and he was the better fighter, but Alvin Hines did something that no other man could do up until now. He made a heavyweight fight fun, at least in recent memory. Nobody has done that. Up next, we went Jacoby Smith versus Nico Price. Jacoby Smith entered this bout as the largest UFC underdog in UFC history, and he did not perform like it. He should have gotten Nico Price out of there in the first 2 seconds of the bout. In the end, he tried to get him out. Nico Price was giving him those tough looks, apparently, that he's never seen before. Jacoby Smith gasses out in the first round. He does what he can. He summons enough energy from the wrestling gods, and he submits Nico Price by rear naked choke in the second round. 4:03 of the second round, so he almost made it to the third round. In the end, he did not look like a world beater. He looked like a normal guy that submits Nico Price in the second round. So, what can we say about Jacoby Smith? Overhyped. Then he gets on the mic. He makes a terrible performance on the mic with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan! Oh yeah, I need to learn Joe Rogan. Just awful. So somebody please get this guy into a media instructor course, something, whatever it's called. Jacoby Smith, work on your finishing ability and work on your mic work. Still, you got the finish, but you were minus 40 million, not dog, favorite. So act like it and just do something better on the mic. Anything is better than that. That was not a great performance for that much hype. Not great mic work. He lost. He lost some fans. He lost some fans. I'll still be waiting to see what he can do next. I'm sure he's still great prospect. But man, come on, that was just the cringiest stuff since Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo. Man, I can't even talk today. But I chose Jacoby Smith just like everybody in the world. There were some people that threw a little bit of money down on Nico Price, and it wasn't even bad money to lose because after the first round, you felt like, even in the first round, you kind of felt like, oh, this guy's he's not getting Nico Price out of there immediately. It's going to take a little bit of work. And if he didn't get that rear naked choke in the second round and it went to the third round, Nico Price might have been able to do something. Maybe not win, but he might have been able to do something. Next up, we had my boy from Spokane, whoop, 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 whoop. Terrence McKinney versus Vyacheslav Borshev. Now, I chose McKinney by sub. He got it by sub in 55 seconds of round one. So, Jacoby, you need to learn a little something from your buddy McKinney over there. He takes the dude down, he submits him in under a minute. He wasn't a minus 20 million favorite. He did good work on the mic. People like him. He's not a world beater. He could be, but he's not. He's everybody knows McKinney's weakness is the second round and the third round. Jacoby Smith, learn from my boy Terrence McKinney, my hometown hero. Everybody say a prayer for Vyacheslav Borshev because he was a little rabbit caught in a snare. He had his arm trapped, so he couldn't do nothing about that guillotine choke. He was kicking his legs in the most hilarious way imaginable. Absolutely brilliant performance by Terrence McKinney. Unfortunately, I believe he did not get the bonuses, and that's too bad because it was absolutely beautiful to watch. Actually, my stream went down right as this fight was about to start, and right as I got it up, they were already raising McKinney's hand. So I didn't really watch it. I saw them do the replay, which is all you really need to see because it's 55 seconds. Terrence, go down, teach Jacoby Smith a little bit of something about just running through people. You don't have to teach him about gassing out because he already knows that, but teach him a little something about finishing people early, especially when you're the favorite. I don't even know if McKinney was the favorite in that one. So great job from my hometown boy Terrence McKinney, T-Rex. Up next, we had Tracy Cortez versus Viviana Araujo. I chose Tracy Cortez by decision. She got it by decision. You know, it was all right. I was listening to this fight because I had to make breakfast, but it wasn't a terrible fight from what I heard. I saw a little bit. Didn't look terrible. Tracy dominated. Saw that one coming. Next up, Jose Delgado, whatever it was. I think it's Jose because he's American. Jose Delgado versus Hyder Emil. I chose Hyder Emil, so this is the first one I didn't get on the card, but it was really quick. 26 seconds into round one. Hyder is backing up. Jose times the step, the bounce of Hyder, plants a knee, drops Hyder with the flying knee, flying or otherwise, I don't know. Again, I think this one was another one where my stream kind of screwed up. It happened during a couple of these fights. But I saw the replay, beautifully timed knee up the middle, jump knee or otherwise. You could see Hyder was bouncing back and Jose Legato, sorry, timed that knee right as he was coming down. Boom. Caught him. Hyder went down because of the knee. Jose went for the hammer fists or whatever they were. Again, I didn't really catch this one, but I saw the replay. Really good work by Jose Legato. But I think Hyder just got caught, 26 seconds into the round. I think Hyder could have got out of there. He was protesting the stoppage too. Hyder's got a chin on him. So I didn't see a ton of people complaining about the stoppage except for Hyder, but I didn't lose much stock in Hyder after this. You know, Jose Delgado, if anything, his stock rose and Hyder's pretty much stayed the same because I think it if that jump knee didn't catch him perfectly, which yeah, not a great thing to say, but if it didn't catch him perfectly, I think Hyder could have been able to do a lot of work. We didn't really see anything from him. So props to Jose Delgado. Can't wait to see his next fight. Can't wait to see Hyder Emil's next fight either. The dude's a hurricane. The dude's fun. And Jose Delgado, he's better than we thought, maybe Maybe it was just catching Hyder at the perfect time. Maybe it was an early stoppage. We'll have to wait and see where Jose Legato goes from here next. So I got that one wrong. But big ups to Jose Legato, and Hyder's going to be back better than ever. It wasn't the most damage like we'll see up next. I chose Gregory Rodriguez in this. I think I don't know if I picked like a round or anything, but I thought he might stop Jack Hermanson, and he did more than stop Jack Hermanson. He killed Jack Hermanson. Vicious left hook, 421 of round one. Jack goes down stiff as a board. Herb Dean is right there. Gregory gives Herb like a split second to stop him. Herb doesn't use that split second. Herb's neurons are firing. Gregory's neurons are activating. He goes in. Boom. Boom. Lays the hammer down on the Hermanson. It was tough to see. Hermanson was out for a hot couple of minutes. Gregory Rodriguez gets the terrifying stoppage. Absolutely shocking. And he said on the mic afterwards, like his trainers finally got to him. They kept saying, "Hey, don't go for the knockout. Don't throw everything with heat. Just touch, 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 touch. Let the knockout come to you." That's exactly what happened. And because of it, he probably got the best knockout of his entire career. So absolutely great work by Gregory Rodriguez. He looks like he's 45. He's only like 33 or maybe even 32. I can't remember exactly. But excellent work from Gregory Rodriguez. Hopefully Jack takes some time off, but I think he just took a bunch of time off after a win. Yeah, his last fight was Joe Pyfer. He took time off after a win. So I don't know where we go from here with Jack Hermanson. He needs time off after that brutal knockout and brutal ground and pound to an already stiff as a board Jack Hermanson. And Herb Dean, man, Herb Dean, you're killing me, Smalls. What is that about? So great work. Sad to see. Herb Dean. That's all I can say. I picked him though. He got it done. So I think I'm what? Let's do a quick recap of the prelims. I did pretty well on the prelims. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-1. So did pretty well on the prelims. 5-1. Not too bad. Up next on the main card, did not do good. Now the first fight of this main card, I was flip-flopping back and forth. And I even said it in my picks. I said, I want to pick Talbot, but I have to pick Lima because he shows an urgency. He shows a desire to actually win. And Peyton did terrible, not in the Johnny Barcelos fight. I'm not going to say he did terrible in the Johnny Barcelos fight overall, but where he was going wrong was his hips would hit the mat and he would stay in that position. He would settle, as they say. He would settle down like you throw a rock into a stream and it settles to the bottom. Peyton was accepting the position that Johnny Barcelos was putting him in. And I said going into this, Felipe Lima does not have the wrestling that Johnny Barcelos has. He did go for takedown after takedown in this Peyton Talbot fight. And it was very strange because I thought Felipe Lima's grappling and wrestling, although it wouldn't be as good as Johnny Barcelos, I thought it would be better than Peyton Talbot's. And I thought Peyton Talbot's striking would be a lot better than Felipe Lima's. In the end, I think that's what most people thought too. In the end, it was very surprising because Felipe Lima did take him down a little bit, but Peyton Talbot did not accept position. You could see as soon as his hips hit the ground, he was getting up. He was trying to get up. He was bouncing off his hips, working his way to the cage, working his way back up. Only a few times did I see him sort of accept position for a moment, but most of the time he would get taken down. He was right back to getting up. Felipe Lima did a lot better in the striking than I thought he would. Start of the fight, he was hitting Peyton Talbot with a 1-2 like every chance he could get. Felipe Lima might have been able to win that fight if he stopped going for takedowns throughout the 3 rounds. Peyton Talbot's striking was definitely harder. He was landing heavier shots. He wasn't the busier guy, but he was landing more significant strikes. But Felipe Lima had the ability to land accurate punches at will almost. Peyton got hit quite a bit, but Felipe Lima kept going for the takedowns. And Peyton, after the first round, you could tell Peyton Talbot had not, I wouldn't say he improved his grappling a bunch. All he did was fix one thing. He just had to not accept position when he was taken down. You can see in the Raoni Barcelos fight that he was already pretty good at getting back up. He did it quite often. He just settled too much. And once you settle, it's so much more difficult to get that momentum going when you've already settled than it is to bounce off your hip and try to get back up. So I wouldn't say he made leaps and bounds in improvement in his grappling, but he did one thing better. And not even throughout the whole fight. You could see his old ways kicking in, but he did not accept position when taken down. And because of that, he won the fight. Not because of that alone, also because Felipe Lima kept going for takedowns, even though his striking was great. His punches were landing. He didn't throw a crescent kick, which was beautiful to watch. As far as I remember, he didn't throw a crescent kick, so thank God for that. But Peyton, his grappling looked better because he didn't accept bottom position, and Felipe Lima's striking looked crisp. But in the end, Peyton Talbot got up from all Felipe's takedowns, and he landed the heavier shots. And by the end of it, he was kind of putting it on Lima. So he won the fight. It was probably 29-28 or even 30-27 for Talbot. But Felipe Lima was definitely in that fight, and he could have possibly won it if he had maybe a change of game plan within the rounds or within the breaks, the 1 minute break between each round. So I almost put that more on his coaching. I believe he gets coached by the same people who coached Jack Hermanson. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe they're just kind of like a one game plan kind of coaching staff. I don't know, because Jack usually I don't see Jack switch it up all the time in his fights. Like he kind of just peppered Piper with the jab and that was it. Some of his other fights he just sticks to grappling. I don't know if they don't do that in that camp, but Felipe Lima has the ability to win that fight. Maybe they rematch later on. I think Felipe Lima is still a great fighter. Maybe his coaching staff needs to switch up. Maybe his fight IQ needs a little adjustment, a little upgrade. Peyton Talbot looked good. His defense, his striking defense wasn't the best, but he is huge for the division. He made Felipe Lima look small, and Felipe Lima's been fighting at 145 the past like 2 fights. So really good fight. Some people criticized it. They didn't like it. I think that probably because they picked Lima. I picked Lima. I still thought it was a good fight. I was going back and forth. I had to pick Lima because of the urgency. But Peyton Talbot showed us that he's willing to make adjustments. He's willing to do better in the grappling, just at least not accepting bottom position as soon as he's taken down. And he's still landing heavy shots. So that's great to see from Peyton Talbot. Up next, Beneil Dariush versus Nano Moicano. So this one I picked Renato Moicano, and as I was talking through it, let's back it up. When I first saw this matchup on paper, I immediately thought Renato Moicano is going to run through Beneil Dariush because Dariush has been stopped in his previous 2 fights, and Renato Moicano's been on a run apart from the Islam Makhachev fight, which was short notice. But then I was kind of talking myself through it through the picks, and I knew I was going to pick Moicano anyways. And then I got to thinking like, oh, this is kind of a bad stylistic matchup for Moicano. But in the end, I stuck with my gut. I picked Moicano. Benny did enough to get it done. I believe Renato Moicano dropped him in the first, but Benny is a very smart fighter still. Renato doesn't have the explosiveness of Benny's last 2 opponents, and he just didn't do enough to win. That's pretty much all I see. Benny is still a good fighter. They're both 38. They're both lightweights at 38. They're not going to be in the top 15 forever, but maybe we can still get some fun matchups from both. That's all I pretty much have to say about that. So I picked Tanato. Benny won. It was good to see Benny win because I was going to be kind of sad if Benny lost three in a row because I like the dude. I like Moicano too, but Benny's a really good guy. So I missed the first two on the main card. It was close though. I almost picked Talbot, and I kind of see, or I definitely could see a path to victory for Dariush after I started talking it over in my head. That's why I need to sometimes I need to flip flop a little bit. Sometimes I pick something in my head and I don't flip my pick after I go through it, talking it out in my head. Next up, we had Joshua Van versus Brandon Roval. I chose Joshua Van because of the intangibles. And guess what? I even said in my picks, these intangibles will most likely play against him, but they definitely could play for him if we look at it in hindsight. Now, he made weight 3 weeks ago. He fought. I don't think the intangibles had a whole lot to do with it. Maybe just because he was fresher and Raval didn't fight as recently. I think he's just the better fighter. And Raval didn't have the best game plan. He's trying to go hammer and tongs, as Mike Heck would say, with Joshua Van, which wasn't the best game plan. Trying to go boxer wasn't the best game plan. Amazing fight though. Again, I think this was another one where my stream went down and I missed most of it. I'll have to definitely go back and rewatch it when I get a little time. We got no UFC this week, so I'm definitely gonna rewatch a couple of these fights that I missed. But Joshua Van gets it done. Really exciting to see. Really, really exciting to see. And I saw the third round. UFC posted the third round, so I watched that. And a lot of people were saying like it was 1-1 going into the third. And then it was pretty close up until the very, very end when Josh drops Brandon Roval. So super close fight. And Josh steals it with a knockdown in round three. Amazing for somebody that's like 23 years old. Absolutely amazing. Gotta give your props to Joshua Van. And you know what? You gotta say, yo, Brandon, you're still up there. Just stop raw dogging all the time. You don't have to go box for box with the dude that's inside the box 24/7. Get a takedown, man. Use a little bit of that fight IQ. You were the number one contender, but I'm not taking nothing away from you. You're still a great fighter. Just be a little smarter next time. And Josh Van, get ready because you got a tough SOB coming up next. We have Alessandre Pantoja defeating Kaikar France by round three. Man, I chose Kaikar France because I lived in New Zealand for a very brief time. And I said in my picks video, Pantoja is probably going to win, but I got to pick Kaikar France. You know, I'm not a betting guy, I'm just picking for fun. And I was right. Pantoja won, but I picked Kaikar France. I completely admit it. I picked him. I picked Kaikar France. I said he would probably get the finish over Pantoja. Well, not probably. I said if he's going to win, he's going to get the finish. And I picked him. Pantoja looked amazing. One of his best performances yet. He just dominated Kaikar France round one completely. And then in round two, he kind of took it off. And he kind of let Kaikar France like do whatever he wanted in round two. And Kaikar France didn't even look that great when Pantoja was pretty much taking a round off. That's how good this guy is. He can take a round off and you don't even get much on him. That's that's really cool. Really cool to see. His defense is amazing. The way he takes dudes down, he was just like they should change his name from the Cannibal to the Cannonball. Because he's just steamrolling these dudes. He just goes after them, throwing like crazy. Kai France kept backing up straight in a straight line. Alexander Pantoja just tackles him. I hear like he has a thing where he kicks the legs out. He just steamrolls him. He just steamrolled Kai France. He gets the submission. This was not like a better looking submission. It wasn't a funnier looking submission than Terrence McKinney's over Vyacheslav Borsov, but it was really good submission, really good rear naked choke. Kai should have went out to be a little bit more Maori-esque, in my opinion. But what are you gonna do? Really good work from Alessandro Pantoja and Kai France. He probably won't be the champ, especially after this. I think that he already had an interim title fight versus Moreno. Got KO'd, liver shot, liver kick. This one he got submitted. Round three, 155 round three. So what can you do? I don't think he's ever going to be champ, but you got to go with your Kiwi boys. You got to go with your Maoris. Alessandro Pantoja, he's got to be top three, pound for pound. And we got to put him there because, man, he's getting so old. Can we just throw him up at like number one just for a couple weeks just to say, like, oh, he was number one at one time? Man, you got to love that dude. You got to love Alessandro Pantoja. Last fight, Ilya Topuria versus Charles Dobrons Oliveira. Man, this fight was 2 minutes and 27 seconds of thrill and kill action. Charles comes out, lays down an elbow, tries to get Topuria to the ground. Topuria somehow ends up in crucifix. Not somehow, like it just happened. He made it happen. Charles tried to take it to the clinch. He tried to take it to the ground, do some grappling. Topuria had answers for everything. Charles tried to lay in his guard after Topuria got up. Topuria wasted a few seconds to kick the legs. I don't know if there was something to do with that. Maybe that was part of his game plan. I have no idea. A lot of people can read this dude better than I can. Teddy Atlas might have been the first one to call it out. He said years ago this guy has the best boxing in the UFC. He could be a professional boxer. And now everybody's saying that. But man, just the way he's doing it, the way he's calling it out. Everybody picked him to win except for far and few between. Everybody said he's probably going to get the knockout. But to go out, do exactly what you're going to say, man, that's something special. We got something special here, boys. Every time this guy's fighting, you know, mark the calendar. Make sure you're at home. Make sure you got the TV on. Watch this dude. Man, he's sending shivers down my spine. And I thought, as I was going through my picks, I thought it'd be so sad to see Oliveira get KO'd or TKO'd because he's just a good guy. And you hate to see your heroes go down like that. But the greatness of Ilia Topuria just outshined any depressing nature of seeing Oliveira down and out. It was just brilliant to watch. You know, I think this was one of the best UFC cards I'd seen in a long while. Just excellent. Absolutely excellent to see. All right, you guys. I don't even know what to say. Like I'm completely awestruck by Ilia Topuria, or however you say it in Georgian. I'm gonna have to start learning some Georgian. I'm gonna buy a bottle of Georgian wine. Man, something special. What can you do? I'm awestruck. Absolutely awestruck. What a legend. What a guy. He won the belt. Performance of the night. Let's see, fourth title defense, fight of the night for both those guys, and I think Gregory Rodriguez got another performance of the night. UFC 317, it did not disappoint. If anything, it lived up to expectations and even more. So the main card, just a quick recap, I did pretty terrible on the main card. I only got one fight right, and that was Ilia Topuria. What can you do? I don't care. I had so much fun watching this card. It was absolutely stupendous. And I'll start working a little bit better on my recaps and picks and predictions. I have a couple videos out now. I'm getting my voice behind the camera a little bit. Not that I have a good microphone for it. I need to get one anyways because I work on the computer and I'm in meetings all the time. So it wouldn't be like the worst purchase ever. And I'm comfortable in those meetings. And I think that's kind of slowly making its way into these videos. But enough about me. This is Alessandre Pantoja and Ilia Topuria. This is their card. You guys do take care. Please do take care. And I'll see you on the next one.